A couple years ago, I made a rolling work table for my shop. It solved a couple of important problems for me in my small space. Whether or not you want to build a table just like this, I think there are some really cool lessons and points about how I made this that could help you in your shop. Let's get into it. So this is a rolling work table that's about 7 feet long, and I put wheels under it. If I could do it over again, I'd put 6 wheels under it because the middle is not supported that well and it's kind of flimsy. But the whole purpose of this was that I wired up the whole shop myself, and I put outlets all around so I could plug things in and I wouldn't need to stretch extension cords everywhere and be tripping over them. But along this wall, how do you make good use of this space? There's no place to put an outlet. But what you can do is you can mount an outlet directly to your table, and then at the end of that run there, I have what's called SO cable. I don't know what that stands for, but it's got the correct wires of the correct gauge, and then a plug on it, and I can plug it in down here. And now I'm not overloading the circuit or anything. I have 8 different places, so I have a Dremel and a little belt sander and a chop saw, and I could have a couple other pieces plugged in here with a couple of extra open outlets. And that allows me to not have such a mess of cords and cables everywhere. You could do the same idea with compressed air. So if you had compressed air plumbed throughout your shop with nice clean drops everywhere, you might want to have that along this wall also, and you could do the same thing with a hard line and coupler fittings and then just a hose on the end of it. And that means that, you know, you can roll it around to some degree. I have about 15 feet of this cable here. You could do the same with the hose, and it's a really good way to make better use of your space. So overhead door is one example. Another thing was that I used to have this actually out into the middle of the shop, and the end of this was up against the door, and that allowed me to have outlets more toward the middle of the shop space, which was really useful. It's a relatively small shop, but I need to be able to walk around it. I don't want to be tripping over extension cords all the time, and so you can run the cable along the wall and then have it jut out like a peninsula. And that sort of idea, I've never seen that before. I'm sure someone's thought of this sort of thing. It's a really super good way to get better use out of your shop. The construction of this is nothing special. There's a little time-lapse video I did for Instagram 2 years ago when I made this, and it's just scrap material that I had, deck screws and 2x4s and plywood, and I screwed the whole thing together in just an afternoon. And if I could do it over again, I wouldn't do it the same way. It's not particularly rigid or robust. I don't like that about it, and I think I could have better utilized some of the space underneath it. These shelves on the bottom just collect clutter, but if I would have prioritized it for actual storage, you know, units and you know, toolboxes with drawers and stuff, I think I'd make better use of the space. But that's not really the point. The point of this is that when you put the power outlets or possibly air couplers on there and it's mobile, it allows you to use whole sections of your shop more effectively with less mess, and I thought that was a really cool idea, and I wanted to share that with you all. If you have clever ideas for similar kinds of shop stuff, share it in the comments. And just click that subscribe button. We'll see you on the next video.